Right, guys. Normally play the next piece of music there, but we're 2 minutes over anyway. I started a little bit late on the old music stuff, so let's get cracking. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to my Law Investigation Episode 6 series here. We're going to be looking at some more real-life locations. I need to look up here, actually. We're going to be looking at more real-life locations today on today's show. If you remember, last fortnight ago, we were looking at... Well, we went through quite a lot, actually. We did all of Yokosuka. We did Hong Kong, along with Wan Chai, Kowloon, and we did a tiny bit of Guilin at the end, which I probably rushed a little bit. I probably shouldn't have done. So I found, actually, a really nice... I don't know if it's called a documentary or just a really nice video on the Lai River that we're going to start this week's show off with, which I think would be pretty cool too. It explains quite a lot of stuff. Actually, as I started watching it, I was like, oh, this is probably pretty interesting for the law streams. Let me say hello to a few people. Just drop that now. My camera's working okay. Got my notes there. Going to say hello to a few people. So Daft That Punk, welcome in. Rio the Hedgehog, much appreciated, mate. Thank you for coming. Who else we got? We got me on YouTube. Flying Waffle, Daily Video Games, thanks, buddy. And Ginger Fairy's in as well. Is that everyone? Thought I saw a couple more on YouTube. If I did, sorry for not saying your name, but welcome in, everybody. And we're going to get cracking straight away because, again, we've got a lot to get through. And the gap of 2 weeks between these between these episodes, I start finding extra things. So even though this is part 2 of the real life location stuff, it may even have to spill over into part 3. In fact, I'm pretty much sure it will, because I found quite a lot of cool things that we can look at. So hopefully that's okay with you guys, a nice free-parter. I'm going to start off with, I know we had this last week, but just on mute, just so I can introduce some of this stuff. We're going to have the Shenmue 2 Guilin intro, only slightly, because when we get into this Lai River, however you pronounce that, that's actually part of Guilin. Oh, don't know what's going on there. Let me just check the settings there. Hopefully it'll play in 1080p, it should do. Hopefully I've not got too much stuff running with my camera and stuff. Yeah, so when we start looking at the Lai River, this river that Ryo's boat's actually on here, he's actually on the Lai River. Obviously, he was told to go to, just skip forward, Guilin by Yuan Dazu there. And looking at these mountains and stuff, I think Shenmue 2 did this landscape the best for me. When you look at Shenmue 3's, it's nice because it's such good quality graphics and stuff, but the rocks don't have the same sort of an impression as they do, in my opinion, that the Guilin Mountains do here in Shenmue 2. So obviously this is Ryo on the way to Languishan, across the Lai River, or Lai River. I'm going to use both pronunciations so that at least one of them's right. This is his boat. It also looks like they're delivering. If you look at these sort of people that are arriving here, when they get to the port here of Languishan, it's just a small remote village on the outskirts of Guilin here. But these people that get off the boat, if you notice, they do carry, I don't know, is it fruit or vegetables, baskets. That looks like a suitcase, but could just be boxes of supplies. And we're going to see something very similar to that actually exists in real life, I noticed. So I'm going to stop it there. We don't need to see much more of that because I did show that last week. So let's get stuck into the very first video on the Lai River. You'll see why this is quite an important location to be researching. I've got a post from Switch here that shows some concept art actually of Shenmue against Languishan, and there's a graphic actually here. So Ryo's actually travelling along the Lai River, and it actually goes into the Yuing Shui River. that you know when Rio's on the cliff top and the eagle's flying around and you've got that river that flies through the cliff of Guilin, that's the Yingshui River. But the one that we're going to be looking at, I don't think that one exists actually, but the Lee River does, which I'm sure one of these images that Switch has done on this page, which is a good blog post actually. I'm pretty sure he did specify that we're on the Lee River. I may have just gone past it. Here you go. Located on the bank of the Lee River is where this is. So, yes, let's get stuck in and I'll start to catch up on the chat and stuff when this starts playing. Let me know if volumes are all good, guys, and let's get cracking.
In the heart of southern China is a river, said to be the most beautiful in the world. The 51
Sounds like the movie voice, doesn't it?
Guilin and Yanshan has inspired writers and artists for over 2,000 years. It's a land of unparalleled geological wonders. Almost 6 million acres of limestone, carved by wind and rain into dramatic peaks, and a mystical labyrinth of more than 3,000 caves. Home to a mosaic of
stone pit there.
Guilin is known as the most scenic place under heaven.
See, this is what I was on about, these mountaintops.
Guilin is often called
just
the
resemble
Chinese
Shenmue
landscape
2's
art.
so well.
For centuries, artists traveling down the Lee River have been inspired by the region's breathtaking scenery. A picture of the river's iconic peaks even adorns China's 20 yuan banknote.
I didn't know that, actually.
The silhouetted mountains and languid river are instantly recognizable to people throughout the nation. In subtropical southern China, the Lee River flows 270 miles through a magnificent limestone landscape. The upper reaches are the most famous, a region of just 51 miles connecting Yanshan and Guilin, one of the nation's...
And look at that, you can actually see, you know, in Niaowu, you've got the Elephant Trunk Hill location. What am I trying to say there? What's that called? That's like landmark. That's at the top end there. And then you've got these sort of Guilin mountains here. So, I mean, technically, when Rio travels from Bailu village to Niaowu, I'm assuming he has to go all the way back to Langwishan, get back on the Lee River, and then travel all the way up this stream here to where this Elephant Hill is located. I mean, obviously, Niaowu isn't a real location. It's based on what we looked at a few weeks ago, which was Fengyuan, which isn't actually in Guilin. There is another place I found actually that's very similar again and is in Guilin. So I mean, they could have just mishmashed all these sort of together to create Niaowu, but you'd assume that he's travelled up here at least to where this is located, and then the game developers have built a city around that.
Shrouded in mist and surrounded by scores of surreal towering mountains, a journey down the Lee River begins at Guilin.
I'd love to go here. It's definitely the bucket list, this
The
is.
city was first established more than 2,000 years ago by Emperor Qin Shi Huang, best known for creating his army of terracotta warriors.
Well, that's that dude, is it?
Today, Guilin is a large, bustling city that attracts visitors from around the world, eager to see the river and iconic peaks, recently nominated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And one of the most famous peaks in Guilin is shaped like an elephant.
There you go.
Hunched by the river, the hill is said to look like a huge elephant drinking water through its outstretched trunk. A symbol of Guilin, Elephant Trunk Hill is said to have been created by the Jade Emperor, the ruler of heaven.
The ruler of
According
heaven.
to legend, the Jade Emperor loved a celestial elephant, until one day, the mighty pachyderm came down from heaven to help the people of Guilin during a time of famine. When the elephant ignored the furious emperor's demands to return home, a terrible battle began. After days of intense fighting, the elephant went to the river for a drink. Just as it stretched out its trunk, the vengeful emperor leapt onto its back and thrust down his sword, piercing the elephant's heart. At this, the elephant was transformed to stone and remains standing by the Lee River today. People have been admiring Elephant Trunk Hill for centuries. Between the trunk and
There you go, guys. So that's like
is a cave, and on its walls are 64 inscriptions praising the beauty of the hills and waters. Some of the words date back to the Tang Dynasty and are 1,400 years old. Elephant Trunk Hill may be
That's
the
a
most famous
literal
limestone peak in
elephant.
Guilin, but there are more than 150 other iconic mountains in the region. And the best way to see them is by
that
boat.
died and got turned to stone. So this looks like Rio's boat that he arrives
Traditionally, flat-bottomed boats called sampans travel down the Li River, transporting goods
Langwishan
between
on,
Guilin
right?
and Yangshuo. Today, travelers ride the ferries to get the best view of the unique scenery. And in Guilin, you need to look straight up.
There you go.
Precipitous peaks
So
line
it's
the
like these
banks,
double-decker
rising dramatically from the
boats.
Black River Basin.
See, this
Some
is
of
like the
limestone
Shenmue
summits
2
soar
intro,
more
isn't
than
it?
650 feet high. The iconic peaks along the Li River are part of a much larger limestone region called the South China Karst. Extending over more than 200,000
cool.
square miles, parts of the South China Karst became World Heritage Sites in 2007, recognizing some of the finest examples of karst topography on the planet. The South China Karst is a vast and unique set of mountains, plains, and plateaus. The rocks not only have a superb aesthetic value, but also help scientists understand the evolution of the planet. The ethereal karst landscape has inspired an abundance of myths over Guilin's 2,000-year history. According to one legend, the mountains were once stones carried from central China by conscripted laborers to fill up the South China Sea. The laborers only got as far as Guilin, and the stones have remained here ever since.
Big stones.
For centuries,
Don't
the
know if
people
you
of
can
China
carry
have
them.
revered this land, delighting in the landscape of conical limestone peaks, exquisitely mirrored in the river's smooth waters. According
Everything's
to 8th century poet Han
postcard,
Yu,
innit?
the river forms a green gauze belt. The mountains are like jade hairpins. Scientists are also impressed by the mountains of Guilin. They see the jade hairpins as the eroded remains of an ancient seabed. For this stunning landscape has been 70 million years in the making.
Wow. So they were underwater at one point. Possible, I guess.
The iconic landscape of Guilin has been carved from a vast slab of limestone, twice the size of Colorado, covering much of southern China. The mountains surrounding the Li
I
River
didn't
were
realise it
created
was that
by a
big
unique
either.
combination of geological events that began 300 million years ago. This land was once at the bottom of an ancient sea. Over time, sediments containing the fossilized shells of countless tiny marine animals and plants formed a massive layer of limestone rock. 55 million years ago, India collided with Asia, creating the Himalayas and the Tibetan Plateau far to the west. The massive tectonic forces also pushed up the huge slab of limestone covering southern China. In places, the ancient layer of limestone was more than 3,000 feet thick. Over successive ice ages, the limestone landscape in other parts of China was scoured by glaciers. However, in Guilin, the rock was exposed to not ice, but monsoons.
Ah, okay.
In the warm, wet climatic conditions, the land has been etched by water. Heavy summer monsoon rains, often exceeding 80 inches a year, drench the rock and start the weathering process. When rainwater seeps through leaves and soil, it picks up carbon dioxide, which turns water into carbonic acid. The acid reacts with limestone, dissolving the bedrock. In Guilin, the warm temperatures and thick vegetation produce particularly high concentrations of carbon dioxide in the water. So when the acidic groundwater seeps into fractures in the limestone, it aggressively enlarges crevices in the bedrock.
Guys, bet
The
you
stone towers of
didn't
Guilin
expect
are
to be
truly
learning
unique.
this much tonight,
It's
right?
the only place in the world where tectonic forces continue uplifting the limestone as the acidic groundwater gnaws at the base of each tower, cutting away the rock faster than the upper surfaces are eroded by the rain. It's estimated that Guilin's iconic landscape has been carved over the last 20 million years. The original slab of uplifted limestone, some 3,000 feet thick, has been slowly eroded at a rate of about 4 inches every millennium. The remaining towers
Type
of rock
of wildlife
come in
they
an infinite
get.
variety of shapes and sizes. The locals have given names to an assortment of strange sculpted mountains lining the Li River. There are peaks called Yearning for Husband Rock, Frog Crossing the River, and Rooster Fighting Hill.
Rooster fighting? Rooster
But
steps, I
equally
was thinking
spectacular
of that,
sculptures can
actually.
be found beneath the mountains. In Guilin, the acidic groundwater dissolves rocks underground, creating more than 3,000 extraordinary caves.
See, this is cool. So it's like,
Towering 200 feet
there
above
is
the Li
definitely,
River, Fubo Hill provides a panoramic view of the city of Guilin.
definitely
Nestled
caves.
among its iconic mountains, the immense limestone peaks appear solid, but they're actually riddled with holes. Caves are etched into the sides of the towers, formed by tributaries of the Li River when the water flowed at much higher levels than today. The same process of dissolving limestone that created the peaks also works underground. It's estimated there are over 3,000 caves in the Guilin region, and one of the most famous is found at the foot of Fubo Hill. According to legend, a man entering the cave found it was illuminated by a magnificent glowing pearl. The man took the pearl, unaware it belonged to a dragon king, who flew into a terrible rage. The man's neighbors advised him to return the pearl at once, and dreading the dragon's revenge, the man went back into the cave. Nobody ever saw the man or the dragon again, but the legend lives on in the name, Pearl Returning Cave.
Pearl Returning Cave. So this is an actual cave in Guilin, right?
The most spectacular cave near Guilin is the Reed Flute Cave.
Reed Flute
Its
Cave.
name comes from the reeds growing at the entrance to the cave that are used to make flutes and pipes.
And Shenmue's father does have a little pipe made of...
According to legend, a magician once lived
It
in
was
the cave,
a reed.
spent thousands of years carving the limestone stalactites into sculptures of animals. By playing a magic reed flute, the magician could bring the stalactites to life. And then, one day, a young girl stumbled into the cave.
Young girl?
Beloved by the magician and his dancing sculptures, the young girl promised to keep the cave a secret. But, unable to contain her excitement, she told her neighbors, and word quickly spread until it reached the Dragon King of the ocean. The king sent troops to the cave, but rather than surrender his magic reed flute, the magician sealed the cave shut, keeping his sculptures safe for future generations to discover and admire.
Few Shenmue themes there, I suppose. With the mirror sculpture.
Features, including Pines in the Snow, Rosy Dawn on the Lion Hill, Dragon Pagoda, Hill of Flowers and Fruits, and the Skyscraping Twins.
You actually see that kind of colour in Shenmue 2's Stone Pit as well.
Years ago, when a corrosive trickle of rainwater seeped through tiny pores and cavities in the limestone, eating away at the rock. Cavities became cracks, allowing more water to enter and erode more rock. Eventually, an underground river flowed more than 750 feet through enormous underground chambers. The extravagant subterranean sculptures all began with a single drop of water, saturated with minerals leached from the rock. When the drop falls, it leaves behind the faintest ring of limestone. Each subsequent drop that forms and falls deposits another limestone ring. Eventually, these rings form a very narrow hollow tube, commonly known as a soda straw. If the straw is plugged by debris, water begins flowing over the outside, depositing more limestone and building a cone-shaped stalactite.
Bit of Phantom Riverstone there.
The same water drops that fall from the tip of a stalactite deposit more limestone on the floor below, eventually resulting in a rounded stalagmite. Given enough time, these formations can meet and fuse to create columns. Some of the earliest visitors to the Reed Flute Cave arrived more than 1,100 years ago in the Tang Dynasty. Poets left more than 170 eloquent tributes carved into the walls. But over the centuries, many people forgot about the vast complex buried beneath Guilin. The reeds growing at the entrance made the cave hard to find, so it became an ideal hideout, providing a sanctuary for the locals as recently as World War II. Some chambers cover an area of 160,000 square feet with a 50-foot ceiling, so there was enough room to set up hospitals, printing plants, a newspaper, and even a theatrical company. The Reed Flute Cave was only open to the public in 1962. Called the Palace of Natural Arts, the cave's fame quickly spread around the nation. But Guilin is famous for more than just its outstanding limestone landscapes. A boat trip from Guilin down the Lee River passes scenes from the ancient past. For 1,300 years, people have fished the river using a most remarkable technique. Instead of using nets, lures, or lines, these fishermen use cormorants.
Cormorant fishermen's. Such a good video this is, by the way.
With a small noose around their neck, preventing them from swallowing large fish. When they return to the raft, the fisherman retrieves the fish, rewarding the bird with every 7 fish caught.
That's how they do it then. Okay.
When not fishing, the domesticated cormorants are treated like members of the family. Birds and humans even dine together.
So they wrap a thing around the beak so that they can only catch the fish, they can't eat it.
There are other unusual domesticated animals also working along the Lee River. In the lush subtropical climate, the land is farmed using traditional methods, and water buffalo do the heavy work of lifting and plowing. Every day, farmers lead their water buffalo down to the river to bathe and drink.
See, it shows you how detailed Shenmue 2 is, because there's
some of the most fertile land in all of China.
I guess it's these water buffalo that are in
Agriculture is the
Shenmue's
major industry in this province, even though only 12%
house
of
area?
the total land area is suitable for farming.
Like, not cows, there must be those
The
chickens
rugged
down there.
mountains look spectacular, but it's the fertile river valleys that feed the nation. The Li River flows through the province of Guangxi, which is the largest sugar-producing region in China. Accounting for 66% of the country's total sugar production, more than 2.5 million acres of sugarcane were planted in 2010. More than 7 million tons of sugar are produced in Guangxi, enough to satisfy the domestic demand for all of China. For centuries, China has sustained its large and growing population through agricultural technology. With only 7% of the world's cultivated land, China has to feed 1/5 of the world's population, so nothing goes to waste.
Welcome in, Steam. How you doing, man?
In Guangxi, there was a time when farmers, having harvested the sugarcane, burned the discarded leaves in the field, causing severe air pollution. But in 2010, China fired up its first power plant, fueled by sugarcane leaves. By burning more than 200,000 tons of agricultural waste each year, the station generates 180 million kilowatt-hours of electricity. Using sugarcane as fuel cuts carbon dioxide emissions by 100,000 tons, compared to similar-sized coal-fired power plants. Sugarcane grows best.
Okay, so Niawu is in
but as more than 70% of Guangxi province's hilly terrain, people found a way to grow a different crop on land once fit for only a few nimble goats. China was one of the earliest countries in the world to grow rice, with a history of cultivation stretching back at least 8,000 years. People planted rice in the mountains of Guilin thanks to an incredible system of intricate terraces completed during the Ming Dynasty more than 500 years ago. More than 16,000 acres of terrace fields were carved into the steep mountainside, up to 1,100 feet above sea level. A complex system of dams, sluices, channels, and bamboo pipes brings water from the top of the mountain to irrigate the plants in each terrace. From a distance, the rice terraces were once thought to resemble the scales of a dragon, covering the flanks of a mountain range with a summit resembling a dragon's spine, which is why the region is called the Dragonback Rice Terrace.
Okay. Didn't know that. Very interesting.
Retained by an intricate network of stone walls, the curving terraces match the contours of the landscape. In an ancient example of soil conservation, the terraces prevent the runoff of nutrients and the channels are flooded with water.
And this is kind of what you see as you're walking down from Shenmue's house in Shenmue 3.
Only 2 or 3 plants,
There's rice fields.
But spread across a vast area of the mountainside, the region still produces more than enough rice to support the local people. The Dragonback rice terraces were built by the Zhuang people, China's largest ethnic minority. In Guilin today, the lives of the Zhuang are still intertwined around the Li River.
I don't know.
In Guilin, the fertile land on either side of the Li River is home to 13 different ethnic groups. The largest ethnic minority are the Zhuang people, famous throughout China for their art, culture, and singing. Every year, on the 3rd day of the 3rd month, locals gather beside the river to take part in a singing competition. The festival honors the memory of one of the most famous singers in China.
On May's birthday, that is, 3rd day of the 3rd month.
Called Liu Sanjia was a singing prodigy. Said to have the voice of a lark, she used her gift for lyrics to sing about social injustices. This upset a local gangster who wanted her as his concubine. When the gangster and his ruffians tried to take her by force, villagers rushed to protect her. She escaped and ultimately found freedom when she was transformed into a lark.
Animal transformation again.
Guangxi province can justifiably
It's a common theme in China.
Almost every ethnic group holds an annual song festival. In the mountains, the Yao ethnic minority are farmers with a magnificent oral tradition. Singing forms an indispensable part of their life. But the Yao are more famous for their hair. According to local tradition, Yao women can only cut their hair once, when they're 16 years old. The cut hair is used as an extravagantly long hairpiece, except when it becomes part of a most unusual dance.
Good. Oh. So that's the hair that they had cut when they were 16?
When a young woman gets the only haircut in her life, it's a rite of passage into adulthood. The Yao traditionally believe that a woman's spirit resides in her hair. In 2004, a Yao woman from Guangxi entered the Guinness Book of Records with hair that measured more than 18 feet long.
Mental.
A Yao woman's hairstyle depends on her social status. The There are distinctive do's for maidens, married mothers, and grandmothers. Unwed women wrap their hair like a turban around their heads, because traditionally, their grooms should be the first to cast eyes on their uncovered hair.
I thought that was a bloody hat. I thought that was a hat. It's the hair. It's amazing.
The Yao may be famous for their remarkable hair, but it was the songs of another ethnic group that achieved UNESCO World Heritage status.
She's just combed her hair and left the comb inside it.
The Dong minority are internationally renowned for their polyphonic choir singing. In 2009, in an attempt to preserve the unique tradition, UNESCO enlisted the Great Songs of the Dong as part of the World Intangible Heritage Program. Part recitation and part chant.
Shenmue's house.
Dong choral songs are rhymed poems,
A little bit.
a way of transmitting their culture down the ages.
It's like the stone pot thing that they've got there.
In Guilin, all the diverse ethnic groups living along the Li River share a deep respect for nature. This is a landscape that inspires reverence. But away from Guilin, 51 miles downriver in the city of Yansheng, the locals have a saying: Guilin's scenery is the most beautiful in the world. But Yanshou's scenery is the best in Guilin.
Yangshou. That's the other place that I found that kind of looks a little bit like Niawu. Possibly.
Famous throughout China for its breathtaking scenery, the city of Guilin was once the capital of the province and the center of the region's culture, politics, and history. Most people overlook the sleepy little village not far downstream. On the banks of the Li River, 51 miles from Guilin, is the far less famous Yansheng. But in the last 20 years, the town has been transformed. To avoid the crowds in Guilin, foreigners started visiting Yansheng, where they could get closer to the dramatic landscape. Yansheng quickly became a major backpacker destination to rival any town in Southeast Asia. But despite the influx of visitors, Yansheng retained much of its essential character and careful planning.
To me.
Buildings could not be higher than 7 stories, lest they block the views of the limestone mountains. As a result, the sleepy village of Yansheng has become one of the top destinations for travelers in all of China. Yansheng is now an exotic blend of cultures, where East meets West, and has gained a reputation as being a tiny global village in southern China. The noise and excitement of the main street can make it difficult to appreciate the tranquil beauty of the surrounding landscape.
Must be so amazing to have that beauty around you, though, all the time.
Even the Li River can be chaotic, as ferries jostle for position at the Yansheng docks.
You probably take it for granted, like, but...
So many visitors arriving in Yansheng decide to head into the countryside to explore the remarkable landscape, either by hiking, cycling, or rock climbing.
And see, this is what I was saying a little bit earlier. See how they've got the... They've actually got this sort of wooden plank thing that connects the boat to the land. This could, like, quite easily be Langwishan.
On traditional bamboo rafts.
And then people arriving and carrying sacks and stuff off the boats.
Made from curving 12-foot-long
Very
bamboo
much
poles,
be, obviously, the inspiration for what they were going for
stable.
there. Look at these rafts of bamboo as well.
But this is not adventurous whitewater rafting. The chairs are comfortable, and the river is gentle and shallow.
This is literally what the
15-foot bamboo poles.
cormorant fishermen use in Shenmue 3. I don't know if they've got seats on them like that though, but
Out on the
think.
river, motorized boats are
You know-
forbidden, so the only sounds come from the locals going about their daily routines, surrounded by the spectacular limestone peaks.
you know the end of Shenmue 3 when they're travelling across to the castle, is there anyone sitting down?
The serenity is only interrupted where
Trying to
farmers
think.
build breakwaters for their animals to cross the river.
That's cool.
For centuries, everyone from emperors to artists have cruised down the Li River, astonished and inspired by the extraordinary landscape. Fan Chengda, one of the best-known poets of the Song dynasty, once wrote, "I often sent pictures I painted of the hills of Guilin to friends back home, but few believed what they saw."
Can
More than
imagine.
900 years later, and little has changed. Pictures of the limestone landscape remain unbelievably beautiful, which is why Guilin is still one of the most beloved places in the land of the dragon.
If it wasn't for Shenmue 2, you know, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't know about this place. That's like another good thing of, you know, what Shenmue's introduced us to introduced to us to these fantastic locations that you wouldn't really know about, really. Good little video that was, actually. I knew it wasn't a little video, and it's taken up the first 20 minutes, but I thought that was really interesting. There's a lot of good stuff in there, and especially the elephant trunk thing that I've got images of here. So obviously, this is the one in Shenmue 3. So it's a pretty accurate representation that they've done there. Of that rock. Elephant trunk. Was it trunk? I think it's trunk. Hill. China. Yeah. See what I mean? It's literally well designed, isn't it, how they've done it? But obviously there's no, where that is, there's no, I don't know, maybe there's a little town there, but there's no Niawu-esque town. This is what they sort of done, took a bit of a liberty in creating that. And in fact, we can, let's boot up Shenmue 3. We can have a quick look at the intro there. I'll do it in real time in the game. Try and intertwine a bit of Shenmue into this as much as I can. Doesn't take hard to do though, to be fair. Welcome in, Sam. How you doing, buddy? Where's the game? Me controller, just to show you it's all legit. You should be able to hear the game. Okay, there's nothing happening at the moment, but let me just bring that up just so I can see. Yeah, ooh. Maybe a bit loud, I don't know. Let me know. Could just be loud for me. We're only going to watch the intro anyway. So this is from a New Game Plus, Niawu. So, and there you go, there's the Elephant Trunk Hill rock that I've just spoken about. So what you'll see at the start of Niawu here is Ryo arriving again on the Lee River that we just watched that video on. So this is very much a location within Guilin, and you can even see the Guilin Mountains in the back there still. And obviously they do refer to this area as Guilin in the game. Glad to hear that, buddy. Everyone's doing well as far as I'm aware. Black screen, but should be kicking in. A bit slower than normal. I think I may have too much stuff open on my computer here. Epic music. There you go. There's the Elephant Trunk Hill. Don't really see a full proper glimpse of it. Actually, you can do. I don't know if I've got a save, but you can see it quite well from Shilling's Shrine. I'll have a quick look if I've got a save there. Again, you've got the sort of double-decker ferry. It's a little bit more ferry than the ones that we've just seen. Yeah, Retro Mule. Thanks for joining, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, quality music, flow of the Lijiang River. Shenmue Saturn music. This is so loud in my ears. I hope it's okay for you guys. So again, you've got that sort of wooden plank thing that they use to join the boat to the dock. And in particular, check out obviously the buildings with the stilts, held up by stilts. We're going to be looking at this in a moment. The mountains actually there did look quite nice. Those are the bamboo rafts that we're just seeing. Cormorant fishermen's. So it's actually very well detailed from that video that we just seen.
彼の手にかかればどんな運も思いのままよ。
They've definitely gone out of the way to like make sure.
宿は港にあるの。長部旅社って看板が出てるからすぐわかると思うわ。
Oh really, Shansam?
荷物は旅社に届けておくから。
I've seen, I know the elderly couple that were on the boat, you definitely see them walking around. And in fact, there's some concept art of them, that elderly couple. Not the one that's like the VIP guy, there's like another elderly couple that's on this boat. So, let me see if I've got another Niaowu save, where we can have a quick check at... I have got a couple of Niaowu saves, it just depends how far I got in them. It's at level 28, so I'm going to go with that. Hopefully it'll let me run to Shilling's shrine, and I can just show you the elephant trunk that they've done in Shenmue 3. That might be quite cool. Need to show, where are we? So we're on potentially the end of the game, this is. So it should let me... Oh, gone the wrong way. Oh, come on, Rio. Where the heck? Where the heck am I? Oh. My bad. Bit of rain as well. If the game lags at all, guys, it's because my computer's not very good. And to be fair, this is on very high settings, which surprised me, to be honest. So you can kind of see it there, actually, the Elephant Trunk Hill. We'll have another little closer look where Shilling Shrine is. So it's very well... Hang on, down here. It's very well represented in Shenmue 3, that's for sure. Get a little bit closer around here. Love this. Love this environment, man. Little mini cherry blossoms and... Look at that one. You can see it around here as well, actually. In fact, I think there's a fishing... Is there a fishing thing here? There. There's actually a fishing spot here, and you can fish in this little pool here where this Elephant Trunk Hill is, which is really cool. So yeah, show that. I thought, glad I quite showed that actually. That was a pretty well segued. Yo, Scribe, welcome everybody. So we just watched a really long video on the Lee River, which I thought was really cool. I'm going to be getting into some Shenmue 4 potential stuff in a moment. Just wanted to get that Niaowu stuff done because we've got a couple of videos here. Now, this one could just be speculative, because obviously Feng Yuan, in my opinion, looks more like Niaowu. I'm going to mute this actually so we don't get some copyright stuff. But I wonder if I've got some music to go with this. Let me see if I can get some music on, guys. I'm going to struggle probably to find what I want to play. But I thought, to me, I'm going to have to turn this up to 1080p. To me, I thought this looks like... Let's go with this one. Can you hear that, guys? Let me just double check. VLC player. Yeah, cool. I thought this looked very much like New Paradise sort of area. Doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, they could have... This... Why is it so laggy, man? Fuck's sake. This, you know, the slow walking spot? Oh, it's because I'm on ×2. I did that before, didn't I? I was like, why is that happening? You know, the slow walking section? and you've got all the tables set out. I think they could have like mishmashed a couple of little areas in, because this is a area in Guilin. Let me try and skip ahead a little bit. There's the guitar guy as well. Who's got the... I forgot what the name of that shop is. I'm going to have to put this on lower. This is annoying. But this floor, and just the way this looks to me, I got New Paradise vibes from this. As like the casino... Not the casino, the VIP Golden Goose over there. Kind of as a casino. Just the way it looks, man. I mean, there's probably quite a lot of Chinese cities that resemble this sort of style, with your lanterns and, well, I don't know about that guy with ham for ears, but all these sort of shops, these stalls that they've got just, you know, and tables. It just feels like, and then you've got that bridge that goes over to the Meringue Cafe. I mean, they could have used some of the layout of this area, in my opinion, for what was ultimately Niawu. Fruit stalls, monk fruit, which they're known for in Guilin, wasn't it? Monk fruit. But yeah, thought that might be interesting. I'll put a link to the whole video of this one if you want to carry on watching that. We haven't got time to sit here watching stuff that may not be anything. Whereas this in particular, now this is Niawu, and I've got a timestamp. Let me get the timestamp up. 1705. That's just some highlights here. 1705. I'm going to put this on 1080p. Hopefully this works. Too much stuff running tonight, guys. Especially with the camera. Now I like my cameras like dedicated to... Be careful what I play here. Look at that. I mean, that is Niawu. It's undoubtedly Fen Yuang. Just gonna play some random music, so I don't get copyright claims, but mate. Looks so sick with all the lights on. You've got these boats. I did tease this a little bit last stream that I'd found this nighttime Feng Yuan video. Okay, we're doing quite well tonight, actually, stream-wise, so... Look at that, that even looks like the bloody castle area that's like built up on the back, where Landy's castle is. The dark slide board. It's like the Chinese Venice, isn't it? No, I appreciate you managed to be able to get in, Scribe. This is like heading up that staircase to the Red Snake side out. Yeah, I agree with you there, Shen-san. I think that's a bit of such a downer, really, that Shilling wasn't fleshed out more. Shilling's an awesome character and really, really great character model. So yeah, that's pretty much, you come to the end of Shenmue 3 there. I think we've kind of caught up to where I wanted to get to before we delve into Shenmue 4 stuff. There's the castle. I'm just going to show the Great Wall segment. This is going to lead us into the Shenmue 4 stuff.
Likely with the mirror.
may do what I did last time where I split that Kowloon chunk. I might split the Lai River or the Lee River chunk into its own video because I think that's really interesting for people. You should check that out. So this is the Great Wall of China, supposedly.
Do you smell that? Because my nose is pointing to treasure. My treasure.
I mean, technically it has to be near to where Guilin is. Although you can't see any Guilin-looking mountains around here.
Strength that would fulfill his wishes.
You'd
Better not run, Landy. You've got some here, I think. Guilin-ish looking mountains. But then, I don't know, is that just a tower along the Great Wall? Because you've got all these towers. Or is this, what's that mountain area? Is that where the Cliff Temple is supposed to be located? It's debatable. I don't know. But leading on from that, we've got a video of the Great Wall of China. But first, actually, while I think about it, during Shenmue 3's development, we did get some screenshots, right, of the Great Wall. Is this possibly what we've just seen in video form? Because if you didn't realise that at the end of... Where's it gone? This at the end of Shenmue 3 is actually a pre-rendered video. So they have designed these graphics at some point. They've mapped out and produced the Great Wall in a playable sort of format, but for, I'm guessing, space and time, and they didn't really need a whole area rendered on the fly. That's why that is a pre-rendered video, and you can kind of tell because it looks a little bit more compressed than the gameplay does when you're actually playing the game. So potentially that they designed this means that the saving you actually being able to traverse this in a Shenmue 4 properly. You can see it's actually properly rendered here. There's a tower there, and just seeing that now, that potentially where my little thing is could be Rio. You can kind of see a shape there, black hair, blue jeans, white shirt, possibly Rio standing there, which would make sense because we have this. So you got Rio fighting Mr. Muscles, or Guy, or whatever his name is, which is a different location to where he is at the end of the Shenmue 3 on the castle. This is like wall looking, very much like he's potentially in fighting inside one of these walls. This could have been where the ending of Shenmue 3, maybe not the ending of Shenmue 3, but they stole this idea and slapped it on to, like, because obviously they had to cut the ending of Shenmue 3 short. And we've also got this, and you can tell it's not, you've got what appears to be the fighting inside a tower on, looks like that's happening here, in my opinion. So whether or not when we are travelling on this in Shenmue 4, we end up in a tower and Mr. Muscles comes back again, or whether he's completely beaten because they sort of rehashed that event for where it actually takes place in Shenmue 3. But we've got a video on the Great Wall of China here.
Structure with a rich history. The Great Wall of China is one of the world's greatest architectural marvels, stretching over 13,000 miles through China's rugged terrain. It is.
And I will say, guys, this is amazing. I did go to, I don't know, I think I went to like the more populated part of the Great Wall, which is like what you're looking at now. There was quite a lot of people, not that many people, to be fair, where I was, but it's so challenging as well because you've got to forget it's just stairs. So imagine walking up stairs constantly, stairs. It's very, very challenging, but it's amazing.
Cultural heritage and has been a source of fascination for people from all over the world for centuries. In this video, we'll explore the history, usage,
the view is incredible.
And importance of the Great Wall of China in tourism. The history of the Great Wall of China dates back to the 7th century BC when the states of Qi and Yan built fortifications.
You can ask me anything you want, Mr. Superman
Over
Rocks.
the centuries, several dynasties extended the wall and added fortifications to protect against invading forces. The most well-known section of the wall, the Ming Wall, was built during the Ming Dynasty in the 14th century. The wall was...
Yeah, they took a boat, didn't they? which you see at the end of Shenmue 3, from Niaowu. This is, I've got into this stuff with Matt before in the past. In my opinion, they go back to Shenhua's house. They travel on the boat. They go all the way back to Bailu Village because they're with Shenhua's father, so they've got to drop him off somewhere because he doesn't follow them on the wall. You know, Shenhua's father's not with them on the wall in that cutscene at the end. So there's a bit that they've either skipped or they're saving for Shenmue 4 and they just wanted to tease this Great Wall section as like, oh, let's slap this tease on the end of the game as like the cliffhanger. But when you actually start Shenmue 4, perhaps you continue the boat ride back to Bailu, speak to Shenhua's father a little bit more and get some more backstory that we so crave, we so desire. That's my particular theory on what's going on there. That Great Wall thing it's too quick of a thing. It's not a transition, it's just a tease, I think. A tease for the future. And potentially that Great Wall segment could be, say, like halfway through Shenmue 4, which would be amazing. So it's like, as it's happening again in Shenmue 4, halfway through the game, it's like, that's that moment at the end of Shenmue 3. All makes sense now. But yeah, if they go anywhere between here and the Great Wall, because obviously they're already halfway across the Great Wall as well. It's not like they've got off the boat and just jumped onto a wall. So there's got to be some journey between that as well. You know, we got off a boat in Shenmue, and hopefully they've not scrapped this concept, but Shenmue is like, you're travelling, you arrive at a new location, like Langwishan. It takes 2 days to get to Bailu Village. I love that. You got the whole walk there. It's not just a cutscene, it's not just a transition, it's not just place Ryo on the middle of a wall. So I fully expect them to continue that formula of you are part of the journey, you're on this journey, you're travelling to where you need to be. So yeah, you can ask a question. The French guy from Shibuya Productions, he didn't hint anything about him before. I mean, he has in the past. He's hinted quite a few times, to be fair, Cedric has in the past, even on the interview he did with Matthew. Matthew, why am I calling Matthew? It's because I was going to say his full name of Matthew Oliver. The interview with Matt, he was actually saying that they were presenting footage and gameplay of Shenmue 4 to potential publishers, but obviously COVID happened and put a stop to everything they were doing because obviously they had all these publishers that they probably booked in to show the game off, and then COVID hit and they weren't allowed to, especially in Japan, was like very much so locked down for, you know, they've only just kind of opened the borders again, haven't they, to actually being able to travel into Japan. So in theory, they've only been able to then pick it up from where they left off 2018, 2019. Well, when was COVID like? Maybe COVID was 2000 actually. I don't know why I went so far back. So they've probably only just been able to pick up from that 2020 rather, when COVID started, within the past 6 to 12 months, because Japan's borders haven't been open that long. So that could be why it's been delayed so long that we haven't heard anything about Shenmue 4. Maybe they've been quietly working on it. They haven't been able to get to any publishers because of COVID, and they've only been able to then get people on board, get people from... Depends where these publishers are. I mean, you've got your Deep Silver and Cop Media that they used before that are a German-based company. So anyone travelling from Germany to the WiseNet's office, perhaps they've only just been able to do that within the last 6 to 12 months. So things could be rolling currently, potentially. But yeah, sorry, to cut a long story short, he has teased bits about Shenmue 4. That was like 2 or 3 years ago. No worries, JP. Welcome in. I'm glad you're in. I love the parts with Shenmue. I'll let this carry on playing. Hopefully you can hear me over this, okay?
And in some sections, stone and granite were used.
And in fact, I would love it even more now if we're walking across the Great Wall, chatting to Shenmue and chatting to Ren, and like they're all bouncing off each other. I think that'd be sick.
During times of peace, it served as a customs check.
That's very much like that cutscene at the end of Shenmue 3. So you got the tower here that we've just seen, perhaps people fighting there, Ryo and Mr. Muscles, and then you've got the towers that are in the difference, and the walls constantly like this.
regulate
with
trade.
all these towers and stuff.
During
So it's
times of
very
war,
hard when you're actually watching. I think I closed it, haven't I? It was the last video, yeah, sorry. It's very hard to see what that thing is in the distance, whether it is just more towers
The wall also
or
played a role in
it's
maintaining
the Cliff
social
Temple.
order and was used to control migration and manage border disputes. The Great Wall of China is located in northern China, stretching from east to west along the country's northern borders. It runs through several provinces, including Liaoning, Hebei, Tianjin, Beijing, Inner Mongolia, Shanxi.
Beijing was where I got onto the
Ningxia,
wall.
Gansu, and Qinghai.
So for it to go that
Some
far,
of
it
the
goes
most
all the
well-known
way
sections of
down.
the wall are located near Beijing, where
Yeah.
tourists can easily visit and explore the wall. The Great Wall of China has become one of China's biggest tourist attractions, attracting millions of visitors from all over the world every year.
Look at this wall here, and then you've
The
got some
wall offers
scaffolding there.
breathtaking views of the surrounding countryside, and
Here you go, this is
visitors can
Guilin
hike along
again.
the wall, climb steep stairs, and explore the many watchtowers and fortifications along the way. The wall also provides a unique opportunity to learn about China's rich history and cultural heritage. In conclusion, the Great Wall of China is a magnificent structure with a rich history and cultural heritage. Its importance in tourism cannot be overstated, as it attracts millions of visitors from all over the world every year.
Has anyone been on the
Whether
Great
you're
Wall?
interested in history, architecture, or just want to experience a unique cultural experience, a visit to the Great Wall of China.
All
is a
I
must.
see now is Shenmue
Visitors
3's
to the
ending
Great Wall of
when I look
China
at
can
images
also
like
enjoy
that.
the various cultural activities and events that are held at the wall throughout the year. One of the most popular activities is the Great Wall Marathon,
Great Wall
a challenging
Marathon.
42-kilometer race that takes runners through some of the most beautiful and historic sections of the wall.
I'd love that, you know. I
Another
probably wouldn't be
popular
able to do
activity
it
for visitors
running.
is hiking along the wall. With its
Just
winding
hiking, it would
path
be
and
amazing.
stunning views, the wall provides a unique and challenging hiking experience. Visitors can choose from a variety of trails, ranging from easy, leisurely walks to more strenuous hikes along the wall's steep and rugged terrain. Some of the most popular sections of the wall for hiking include the battling section near Beijing,
I think that's the one I was on.
section, and the Jiangsu section. For those
That
who
one that
prefer
began with
a more
them.
relaxed pace, the Great Wall of China also offers several scenic spots for picnicking and sightseeing. From the top of the wall, visitors can enjoy panoramic views of the surrounding countryside and get a sense of the vast scale of the wall. In recent years, the Great Wall of China has become a popular destination for photography enthusiasts. With its winding path, towering watchtowers, and breathtaking views, the wall provides an endless array of photo opportunities. Whether you're an amateur or a professional photographer, the Great Wall of China is a must-visit destination for anyone interested in capturing the beauty of China on camera. Overall, the Great Wall of China is a symbol of China's rich history and cultural heritage, and a testament to
Sounds
the
like
country's
someone's
architectural
used
prowess.
AI to
Whether
write
you're
this.
interested in history, culture, or outdoor activities, the Great Wall of China offers something for
In fact, I think it's probably an AI voice.
So, if you're planning a trip to China, make sure to add the Great Wall of China to your itinerary and experience this magnificent structure for yourself.
Yeah, I would highly recommend that. Oh, don't go straight into that. You've got to go to the Great Wall at some point in your life. There's so many, because of Shenmue, there's so many places that you need to add to your bucket list. You need to go to depicted Street. You need to go to Hong Kong. Maybe see the Kowloon sort of monumenty thing that's supposed to be there in the park or whatever it's supposed to be. Guilin, 100% I want to do that. And the Great Wall. You can't go far wrong. Any of those locations are amazing. Let me catch up with the chat, guys. I like seeing more chat. Thank you. I feel like I would have enjoyed Shenmue 3 a lot more if there was a walking piece on the Great Wall like Shenmue 2 ending. Hopefully we're going to see that in Shenmue 4. I'd love that, you know, like a nice... It doesn't have to be as long as Shenmue 2's Guilin segment. It can be like 30 minutes to an hour, and that would be amazing to me. And like I say, if you've got Ren included as well in the conversations. Start 4 needs to be a wow moment, so I hope they tie up loose ends and give good weight to the starting point 4, even with the 10 minutes of cutscenes. I would love that, Scribe, and you see that an awful lot in the Yakuza games that get a pass on that. They have these like 10-minute cutscenes to begin the game with, and no one says, oh, you know, you need to get to the game. Why are we not in the game? I think they kind of... It wouldn't be my choice anyway. I know Ryan Payton said that they... I think the start of Shenmue 3 was a bit like that, like a 10-minute cutscene, and Ryan Payton was suggesting to Yu Suzuki to cut it up and try and get the player into the game more, and then use the cutscenes as like a tutorial and break it down a bit more, which is why you've got that skip from Shenmue's house to like the Verdant Bridge and these like the fades to black and stuff, that's because they decided late on to cut out segments of that walking down the hill. I think originally it probably was one full cutscene walking from Shenmue's house to the bottom of talking, which in my opinion would have been amazing at the start of the game, but obviously you're trying to get a new player base to Shenmue 3. They've got to sort of factor in a younger audience that just wants to get stuck in a game straight away. Again, newcomers to the series, they perhaps don't want to sit there for 10 or 15 minutes and not being able to play the game. So I do understand that from a sort of a gameplay element. But for me, that is a Shenmue element that I would have left in there and not had this sort of broken up cut stuff to start the game. And in fact, it kind of did get a little bit of a negative press for those black fade outs and all that sort of stuff that was going on at the start. So hopefully they can do that in Shenmue 4. Really, really go back to the story roots. You thought Rio was the narrator. You've been to Manmo Temple, Retro Mule. That's cool. That's a place that I haven't been to yet, but that is on the bucket list as well. It was on the Great Wall at the start of Tomb Raider 2, if that counts. The start of Tomb Raider 2? I thought it starts in Venice, Tomb Raider 2. Or is it the new Tomb Raider 2, which would be Rise of the Tomb Raider? Is that what you mean? I can't imagine not having Shenmue 4 and 5. Me neither, mate. We need to get them. You can't directly send money to them. Just basically just buy Shenmue 3 again. Legitimately. There you go. You're giving them money to them. I've been to Yokosuka. Yeah, we did talk about that a little bit last week. I've been to Dobuita Street and well, we did a sort of a China-Japan trip. In China, I went to like quite a few places actually, like Suzhou, Shanghai, Xi'an, Beijing. We went on the Great Wall. In Japan, yeah, I made a day definitely to go to Yokosuka. That was a highlight of the trip actually. I'd love to do the Great Wall again though. First level's a Great Wall, second is Venice. I can't remember, you know. I'm going to have to play Shenmue 2 again. Venice is level 2 in Tomb Raider. You start on the Great Wall. Really? I cannot. For some reason in my head, I cannot picture that at all. I'm definitely going to do that again. Anyway, guys, so let's get back to where we are now. So we've reached the end of Shenmue 3. We've had a little bit of the Great Wall there. Now it's going to get hopefully a bit of lore heavy now. So we all know the chapter titles. Let's go back to these. So you've got your chapter 1, which is obviously Yokosuka when it loads. Your chapter 2, which is obviously Hong Kong and Kowloon. Chapter 3, which apparently is the train journey. And I think specifically Suzhou. Oh no, it's the train. Okay, so it's the train that links Hong Kong to Shanghai and Suzhou, which is the 4th chapter, which is this apparently. So this is what we're seeing here is concept art of Shanghai, Suzhou. I mean, I've been to Suzhou, it doesn't look like that, but then this is an arena. And we have kind of got an arena in Shenmue 3 that's got a yin and yang thing. If you remember the back end of Niawu where they're training, that's got this yin and yang symbol, so perhaps they've used that as inspiration. You've got this elevator here, it's very like a Kowloon elevator arriving there. I know there's elevators all across the world, but there's Yuanda Zoo. You've got these girls, these sort of minions. And I've said before, he kind of looks a bit sinister here. He's like overlooking this tournament that seems to be going on here. So whether or not that means he's good or bad, we don't know. We've got Rio advancing his training here. This would have been like an advancement in where he got his... Actually, he's got his green... Canopy, I think it's called. It's weird how it goes from like dark green there, a lighter shade of green here, and then you've got an even lighter shade now with gold. Or is he just, hang on, has he just rolled his sleeves up there? Is that the same thing, or is is it sort of showing his training arc. He's like becoming more of a master there. But this was the Guilin segment, so obviously they had a switch around already at the start. Well, when they were producing Shenmue 2, this is the Guilin chapter. So we've kind of already had this split between the end of Shenmue 2 and the start of Shenmue 3. And then this one very much looks like Niawu now. Now you can see the landscape there. It looks very much like even actually that trailer, you know, the trailer where the camera pans under this archway and you've got the bright sun that sort of lens flares in your face. That looks very much like what that's going on there. And then this is Rhea becoming a martial artist. You've got Yanlang, Niao Sun, Ren, Shenhua, perhaps 2 different versions of Shenhua there. And then this guy potentially could be the guy from Bailu Village, the abandoned temple guy, that, you know, the slight drunken sort of guy, wine and buns guy. Looks like that to me. Which leads us into Shenmue 4 and beyond, which is where this chapter tile would be. Potentially that is your cliff temple that they talk about, this monastery that's, you know, you can literally see it there, it's on a cliff. You've got these monks, potentially zimming there, I don't know. I think one of the previous lore episodes I said that may be Tentai. Yaosun, Landi, of course. There's a fight going on here. It's really cool artwork. I'm glad we can see these up close. So to go through them again, so like I say there, Chapter 5 is Guilin from this original lineup of concept art. 6 is Cheyenne, apparently, which was this. Obviously that's been changed to, we presume, Niawu. And 7, interestingly, is Lu Yuang, which I'm hoping we've got time for towards the end of the stream. And then I'm going to have to save the rest of this for part 3, actually, because I'm talking a lot more actually in this episode. But we do have something that looks very much like. I'm going to close that now, so I don't. Let's keep that one up. So you see the cliff temple monastery sort of thing we've got going on here. There's a place called Hanging. I think it's called the Hanging Temple. They've called it the Hanging Monastery here. Let's make sure we've got everything set up here.
This is one of the world's forgotten wonders, China's Hanging Temple.
And you can literally pause it right there, and you can see the resemblance straight away. You've got that staircase here that joins this side to this side. And all these bits and bobs that are sort of coming off that. It's sort of like that is a temple there, in fact, because you've got your sort of Manmo temple looking red wall, green roof vibes, which would be this section here if they've gone for that look, which.
Located near Datong, this temple...
Datong. One sec, guys. This is something I'm saving for later. Just double check this quickly. Demfeng. Okay, forget that.
The temple sits 246 feet above the ground. It's supported by poles that have been drilled into the side of Hengshan Mountain. Inside the temple is a series of rooms, winding passages, and breathtaking views.
So this is literally could be a Shenmue 4
Built
location,
by monks
guys.
Between 386 to 534 AD.
So you could be walking along stilts.
The temple is dedicated to 3
Rafters.
different religions: Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. It's thought that its positioning was a case of function, not form, as the seemingly precarious situation of the temple actually means it avoids flooding and is shielded from harsh weather.
It's interesting.
Considering that it was built over 1500 years ago,
Safe as hours
this
is
is
that?
a truly amazing feat of engineering.
I mean, you wouldn't like to get too much weight in this segment here, right? Well, in fact, these should be even heavier, these segments. But that's quite cool how they've designed it so that if there's any flooding or whatever, it's like well out of the reach. What I wanted to see is if you can see if it joins on to anything that resembles the Great Wall, because it doesn't look like it does. And obviously that could again be a video game liberty, that the Great Wall just happens to lead to here. But it's difficult with the Great Wall. The Great Wall doesn't necessarily, what we're seeing at the end of Shenmue 3, doesn't necessarily have to lead directly to the Cliff Temple. It could just be another means of transport again. It could be like, you can't get by there by boat, by train or whatever. You've got to walk across the wall for like a few miles or whatever. And then you arrive in Datong or whatever. And then Datong is a new city or something. You know, like some, perhaps we're running around these sort of areas. And then you go up some staircases and then you've got the Cliff Temple is coming off of that. I don't know. Very cool though. That, see, I've got queued up another video that could be another potential idea for a Cliff Temple. I mean, it's obvious it's going to be like that though, in my opinion. Let me just catch up with the chat, guys. Yeah, Kowloon doesn't exist anymore, but there's some sort of a park there. I know one of my friends has gone, Paddy's gone to that area. I think it's like a memorial park to Kowloon, and they've got like a model replica of how the city used to look, and I guess like a museum or something. You don't think they will go back beyond GDC Tile 6 and will keep pushing forward through 7 and 11. So this is the full list. So this is 7. And then obviously we've got to see 8, 9, 10 and 11 at some point. 10 is Beijing, because you can see the Forbidden City there, and I will be showing that next time around that part. I believe this is Mongolia, or this is Mongolia, so that's crazy, right? We've never heard that been spoken of really before in Shenmue. But it's potentially a location that we could be heading there. And then this last one, I forget what it's called. Is it called Xinjiang? Which is, I don't know. We'll find some stuff on that next time around. I'm just going to quickly show you this anyway. So this was something else I found. So this is in Liyuan. And this is called...
Wu Zetian ordered the building of new Buddhist temples in every town in her empire, creating allies among the common people of China. And she didn't stop there. 250 miles east from her capital city of Chang'an, in Henan province, are the Lungmen Grotto Caves.
Try and stop it on one that isn't as blurry.
The Lungmen Grotto Caves.
Right, good evening, Yamagishi-san, welcome in. If it were actually hanging, would it need the stilts? Oh, it answered that, did it? Yeah. Does that have a big lake in front of it, though? What, in front of the Cliff Temple? Why did that have a big lake? I think this is clouds. How these monks and civilization in those days achieved this as a feat of engineering. It's mental, isn't it? It is mental how they did this stuff back in the day. It's the same with the pyramids and all that sort of stuff. That very much you can't explain how they were made. It's just mental. And like the Great Wall, they had to carry all of those bricks and stuff to build that up mountains, because it's literally on a mountain how it's built. It's just insane. Didn't you say in an interview that there would be Mongolian horseback riders or something? And they did describe. That's probably going to be next time as well when I get to that. But yeah, so this is called Longmen Grottos, and it is like another temple within a cliff. So it depends what kind of idea they're going to go for.
Historian Lu Yong thinks they may be key to understanding Wu's power.
Because this is literally a place that Yu Suzuki went to. I don't think he went to that hanging monastery. I think he went to Longman Grotto.
There is a connection that link Empress Wu directly to that face, so I'm coming here to figure that out.
Members of the elite in Chinese society paid vast sums of money to be allowed to carve small caves into this sacred hillside. There are over 1,400, housing over 100,000 Buddha figures. The smallest is just an inch. But the tallest is a staggering 57 feet high, commissioned by Wu Zetian herself. And it has a story to tell.
Wow, isn't this impressive? What a view. It is gigantic. The official name of this Buddha is Vairocana, which is the radiant Buddha of a great sun. This is basically a universal Buddha, symbolize the power and dominance of this religion.
Wu Zetian wanted to embed herself into Buddhism, the religion of her empire. To do this, it's possible she took one audacious step.
The legend says that this statue actually is modeled on her face. She wants to make this a statement of her power. This will give her more credibility because this is the age of Buddhism and there's a massive follower of this particular religion. And by creating this temple, she basically put herself on the center stage of not just religious action, but also the society in general. You know, seeing this with your own eyes is an incredible experience. This is so impressive to me, and I think she got what she wanted.
Cheers, JP. Thanks for coming on. So yeah, it's very much debatable which of the two is going to be the Cliff Temple. I mean, if you're going off the chapter art, it looks like the Hanging Monastery. But if you check out that, so you've got the Hanging Temple, China. That's located like randomly somewhere. Like I just said, yeah, like Detong City, Hanging Temple. Whereas the actual chapter is called Liuang. And Yu Suzuki, I think it's going to be... Go to part 6 on this. I've seen a picture anyway of Yu Suzuki at the... There you go, the Longmen. So Yu Suzuki at Longmen Grottos, south of Liuang. So he's actually travelled to this Cliff Temple in person. And the chapter of 7, this one, is Liuang, according to the original outline. So, be interesting which side of things he gets there. Oh, I forgot I had this Baisha stuff. So it depends what you want to see next, guys. I was going to go into the Liuang stuff next, but we do have these remnants of Shenmue 3. I'm going to do this actually. Let's do this Baisha quickly. It's probably only going to take 5 minutes. So this is a video clip from a Kickstarter update of this. This was going to be Baisha, basically. You can see they'd somewhat designed it. You've got Rio running up to one of the Tulu buildings here in Baisha. And in fact, like the whole Kickstarter outline was Baisha, Baisha, Baisha. This is happening in Baisha, this is happening in Baisha. You know, the first milestones of the Kickstarter were like 5 minigames in Baisha, 5 this in Baisha. So Baisha should have been like the main area, but obviously it got cut because they ran out of time. And that's why we got the castle ending at the end. And this is another place that Yu Suzuki's visited. This place isn't called Baisha in real life, it's actually called Fujian. And I've got a little short video here. Well, it's not short, but I'm only going to show you a little bit of this. this is, let me make sure we go back a little bit. What sort of sound have we got here? Got actual thing here. So potentially this could have been Baisha, guys. This could have been, we could have been walking around this kind of an environment. So you've got, I knew that was going to happen. So you've got Guilin over here. And this is located here. So there's no real link. I think, again, it's just a video game thing that you're in Guilin one day, you pop up here the next day. Rio's leg to booty ratio. To body ratio, I read. There's a Tulu. And there is actually a photo. I've got a photo, I'm sure I have. Yes. Pop that up on the screen at the same time. There's Yu Suzuki outside. That... Oh, come on, mate. That exact... See what I mean? So this is what he was going to base Baisha on. And we've got some more stuff that shows the intentions. This is from the Kickstarter. You've got these Tulo buildings. These like big, round, spherical... I think the houses, actually. I think people are living in them, like complexes. And this was ultimately like some concept art from Baisha. You've got Rio overlooking the city of Baisha. Again, those mountains would specify that this is somewhere that's located in Guilin. So Yu Suzuki's just taken inspiration from different places that he visited on his trip and just used them in the narrative, basically. So this doesn't exist in Guilin. This exists in a place called Fujian, but he's created it and called it Baisha and used some of these inspirations there. And potentially this could be another location that has been saved for Shenmue 4. Like I say, that is that similar fronting they've designed to that there. You can see the name tag thing they've got going on above there with the kanji characters. So they had worked on this. You've also got this concept art of Rio and a black suit, a Chi-Men member. Within, again, you can see that this is going to form one of those circular buildings. So they've worked on it. Whether or not it's been saved or cut remains to be seen. But you could see this being a Shenmue location. Rio running around this sort of area. It just looks magnificent, doesn't it, really? I hope that this hasn't been cut. Wish we could catch a glimpse of Sega expenses report in mid-90s to see how much this research trip cost you, Suzuki Sega. They were actually only there for like 5 days, so they fit a ton in. That's a nice... So you can see how they've cut that open there, what it looks like inside. I think it goes inside in a moment, hopefully. So we can actually see what the building looks like from the inside. Just skip ahead a little bit. So he's walking around the outside. Maybe he doesn't go inside then, I'm not sure. Or is he going through here? Maybe he's going through now. Yeah, here we go. I might be wrong as well, but I feel like this was in... Was it Kung Fu Hustle? Kingdom Come. I've heard good things about that game. I haven't actually played it, but I've heard good things. Here we go. Inside a Tulu. It's really cool actually with the rain. Hanging the washing. And I'm just assuming that these are apartments then. I really, really hope that they've... Here we go, he's walking along one of the areas here. I really hope they've saved this for Shenmue 4. Ooh, that'd be nice looking down. Was that a well? Oh, it's a well. But yeah, unfortunately, that's about all I can show you of Baisha, because we never actually got it in the game, so a bit of an unfortunate loss that. Again, hopefully we will see that at some point. Right, so let's get into where I was taking that prior to getting a bit sidetracked there with Baisha. We're going to end with this Lu Yuang segment that I've got for the show. I don't remember that from Kung Fu Hustle. It's been so long. I just remember like the old lady with the things in her hair, and I feel like she's got washing hanging on the line, and in my head I can picture that sort of circular outline of building. Oop, where am I going? I think the first save is... Oh, no. No! That's my bad. It's because I've got... If I do it this way round, I can go back in the save menu. Otherwise it's going to be like loads of cutscenes and then I won't be able to show you this. But see, this is Lu Yuang on the scroll. We've seen this a couple of times now. I'm going to do it again for any newbies in the chat. Lu Yang. Liu Yang. So there's some big hints there. And after learning that Chapter 7, which is the next chapter, is meant to be Liu Yang, hopefully it's not been retconned. Hopefully we are going to Liu Yang. And no game audio, really? Hang on, sorry. Oh, I tell you why. It's because Shenmue 3 is on a different type of. You should have it now. Sorry about that, guys. But you saw the subtitles anyway for that wall scroll.
Follow me. We'll see my house soon.
And we've seen it quite a few times already. All I wanted to do was get this cutscene here. So this is when it gets to Shenfua's sort of dream or whatever it is, flashback.
Here.
Cheers for saying that, Scribe, by the way.
What's this tree?
Shenmue.
Huh?
A tree called Shenmue.
No Shenmue news yesterday, mate, unfortunately.
Every year at this time of the season, its flowers bloom.
Really?
This tree holds a special meaning for me.
Interesting, it goes into the flashback and she's saying, this tree? Because we've speculated before that this isn't the same tree because of where it is. Just picking up on that. Shenfua's real parents, who I don't know if they just dress nicely,
its flowers in bloom again this year.
Or it could be Shenmue World's Emperor and Empress.
Shenfa, a beautiful flower.
But look at the landscape here, guys, because I feel like I may have found what this is based upon when we get to the Liuang videos.
That is wonderful.
Bridge there,
The
the trees and sort of the backgroundy palacey thing. That's sort of a look and feel.
The flower of the Shenmue tree is called Shenfa.
That's...
Yes, that's my name.
That's where we're going to end with the gameplay footage. So, just to show you again, although it was only the audio, but that's the wall scroll of the Liuang. So look at how that is, this big temple building, the style of the roof, and this pagoda thing in the distance here as well is pretty interesting when we get into these next two videos.
If you want to understand the rise and decline through ancient and modern times, you may find your answer here in Luoyang City. Luoyang is a magical fertile land that has gone through the washing of time, with a long history, magnificent mountains and rivers, and a splendid civilization both in ancient and modern days.
That looks sick as well.
Here was once the starting point of the Silk Road, the center of the Grand Canal, and the
I love this. If this is somewhere that we're going to go in Shenmue 4, this is going to be another place on the bucket list. I already want to go there anyway, to be honest.
Jerusalem, Mecca, and Athens are named the 4 holy cities of the world. The mountains and rivers in Heluo region bred the earliest Eastern civilization. Throughout the 5,000 years, 13 dynasties including Xia, Shang, Zhou, Eastern Han, and other dynasties had founded their capitals in Luoyang. The 105 emperors have made their own strategies here to govern the country.
Sword with the 7
One-third of the
stars,
5,000 years of civilization in China, it's centered in Luoyang. The city has witnessed the flourishing of Confucianism, the prosperity of Buddhism, the accomplishment of metaphysics, and the beginning of Neo-Confucianism. It fully deserves the title of source of Chinese civilization. Time has made the city of Luoyang a living museum with the glory of the Chinese civilization shining through the history. Just like the famous painting of Mona Lisa, the graceful and quiet Buddha Lusana in Loman Grottos has attracted the pious eyes of tourists from all over the world. The White Horse Temple, the first ancient official temple in China, is hailed as the ancestral temple and source of Buddhism. The head of the battle saint, Guan Yu, the incarnation of loyalty and bravery, was buried in Guanling, Luoyang, thus making the place a holy land for Chinese home and abroad. The Mingtang and Tiantang palaces, constructed during the Wuzhou period, was the highest pure wooden building in the world at that time. The pattern of Luoyang City in Sui and Tang dynasties has influenced construction concept of cities till present. The Chinese civilization originated in the Yellow River, and up to now, Luoyang has been continuing the resplendence of Mother River. The Xiaolong Dihab on the Yellow River is a monument of the Human Water Conservancy projects, which not only enables the Yellow River to benefit this region, but also contributes to the beautiful and vast lake scenery. Luoyang is an ancient city that grows in the mountains and lakes. It is adjacent to Songshan Mountain in the east, Qingling Mountains in the west, Funiu Mountain in the south, and
But those
Taihao
clouds
Mountain
then
in the
that
north,
look like
with 4
that chapter art
distinct
tile.
seasons and a pleasant climate. The beauty of Baiyun Mountain, the wonder of Jiguan Cave, the delicacy of Chengdu-go, the brilliance of Longtang Gorge, and the vulgarity of Laojun Mountain make people linger and immerse themselves in the unique style of the Central Plain landscape, between the majestic sceneries of the north and the handsomeness and delicacy of the south. When it comes to exceedingly fascinating and charming flowers, people naturally refer to the peony flowers in Luoyang. In April, Luoyang City is full of peonies with natural beauty and heavenly
Wasn't it
fragrance.
peony that
The exposure to the
wow
sea of flowers makes
likes?
people intoxicated and inspired by the elegance of peonies.
Wasn't it that Nozomi brought flowers to Iwao's grave and they were peonies? Am I getting that right?
Have bloomed one after another in Luoyang, which add to the charm of this modernized ancient capital of history. History continues to advance, and Luoyang has been and will always be the most attractive and energetic.
Hey Mark, welcome in, buddy.
With its club of over 5,000 members, Luoyang hosts a lot of friends and guests from all over the world by its authentic and true features of central China. This ancient city is closely linked to the Oriental history and continues to renew the charm of the Chinese civilization. This is Luoyang, the origin of the Orient, and
So you can kind of see,
created by nature.
you can kind of see the landscape there. That's in that scroll. Scroll up again. Obviously, it depends on the angle that you're looking at. You've got this tower here, and I think the temple thing is over this side that you can't
Full of
quite
friends
see.
and guests from
This
all
thing is potentially that sort of temple grounds there, one side, and the other side's got the thingy. I think you were right, by the way. Yeah, peony is one of the herbs. Matt, can you remember? You know when Nozomi brings flowers to Iwao's shrine? Does she bring peonies? Am I making that up? What's the flower she brings? That's like Iwao's favourite. Lily. Alright, okay. Anyway, we've got this. This is a walking tour. And before I get copyright claimed, let me find some nice Shenmue 2 music to play. Soundtracks? No, not there. Music, Shenmue 2. What would you like to listen to, guys? Shall we have some... Oh, let's have some Shenmue 1 orchestral music. Alright, I didn't know that, Matt. How have I... Looks like it's still working on my streaming end. Is it okay now? Is it just for a moment and it's caught up? It's back, okay, bro. So look at that, look at that, look at that. So if you were to put that into reverse... Why do I keep closing stuff? So if you have that the other way around, so there's your pagoda thing on the right there. If you flip it, can I flip this? I think I can flip it. Oh, maybe hang on. If I edit it in Paint, flip. There you go. What do we think, guys? Is that that? It's quite close, and this is a scroll of Luoyang, so I'm pretty sure this is what this place has got to be. So this is inside Luoyang, whatever that temple is there. There's your pagoda. We put this on 2x speed. We're not going to watch all of this, but there's just bits and pieces that I think are really cool, because this again is going to be a potential location in the future of the series. Hopefully they haven't retconned this. Or is it that? That's the place, right? That's more shaped like that. There you go. It's that. Because you can even see the curliness of the horns that are on the... This is a really cool video as well. I will link this so you can see the grounds of the place there. Let's bring that back up again. I'll try and pause it on that. I don't know why it's done that. 1080p. Just doesn't like 2x speed for some reason. So it looks like the pagoda thing's there. A massive area. And it'll be interesting actually, what is the... Because I think it used to be a capital city. You see if something comes up with the Yuan Emperor. So it was declared the capital of the Eastern Han Dynasty by Emperor Guangyu of Han. So I'm trying to think in terms of Shenmue. It's on the tapestry because Shenhua remembers it from when she was a child. She feels like when she closes her eyes she can see the cityscape of Liuang. That flashback we have, me and Matt have speculated before that that is somewhere in Liuang. And in fact there's a little bit later on in this. This is obviously inside whatever this temple is. Oh, this is cool actually. I'll leave it to play. This section here is pretty cool. It's like some sort of a wall exhibition. Let us play a moment. Look at that dragon. And is this the Empress? This looks like a really cool place to visit. Here you go, some constellation-y stuff. Big Dip, I'm sure, somewhere there. So cool. What all these are. There's your... Oh no, it's just a horse and carriage. I thought that was going to be the Skylord thing. No worries, Matt. So cool how they designed this projection. So peonies are the symbol of the city. So I'm going to skip through some of this now. We don't need to see all this. This is like walking around like the interior of this museum. I'm sure there's some interesting artifacts and stuff that he shows you. What's going on there? Let's have a quick skip to that bit. But this is something you can very much have a look at in your own time. I'm sure there's some awesome history and stuff. What I was most interested in was just the landscape going off that wall scroll. You can kind of see what they were going for on that wall scroll. And this, again, has very much some sort of a connection to where we hopefully going in the future of the series. Shenhua's birth home, perhaps, or an ancestor of a birth home. Goes back in. Really cool little walking tour. I think he does go up to the pagoda thing. Goes inside here. This is cool. This is very fancy. There's outskirts with the pagoda. Oh, look at that. That's nice. All lit up. Oh, look at that ceiling in there. See some mirrors, or are these plates the plates? Some very expensive plates, I bet. Very cool, very cool. So, I was watching this, I'm not going to lie, a bit myself, just because it was so interesting to see all these artifacts and how fancy this... Look at the wall art there. This is obviously an old room. Potentially, again, it could be a room where the Emperor once... God, why is VLC using up so much power to play a song? It could be very much where like an Emperor used to sit. Possibly. Be pulling at strings here. Oh, what's this? Big Buddha thing. Just a really nice, fancy place. Just looks amazing, doesn't it? This whole area. Whether or not we're going to see this in a future Shenmue game, I'm not sure. But one thing I did find, let's get to it. It's towards the back end here. Is this Dojo Lake? Now, if you remember, I've just shown you the flashback scene in Shenmue. And it looks very much like this place, in my opinion, once he gets inside here. So I pointed out there was that bridge that was in the background behind Shenmue's parents. Where is it? It's not quite here yet. It's on the other side of these grounds, I think. This was it. Images? I don't think I've got any images. Oh, there is a video that sort of links this together in a moment. Yeah, way more illuminated. Obviously, it's at night. They've made this really fancy these days. If you're going back to like 1987 or whatever. This is Liyuan though, Night Coda. Like Temple of Heavens is in Beijing as far as I'm aware, because I actually went to. Is the stream okay? But what I was seeing here, this bridge especially. Just turn the thing down. It's because I've got like loads of shit going on, to be honest guys. The camera's not helping. Now I've got a dedicated camera. This bridge is... Oh, okay, cool. And the trees and stuff. As I was watching this, I was just very much getting the background of Shenmue's father and mother with Shenmue under a tree. There's an angle. That kind of a thing there, right? So you've got this temple building in the background. In fact, let's get rid of some of these. This obviously is taking up a lot of bandwidth and stuff. Don't really need to show you this stuff anymore. But it's this one in particular I want to get open, because this is Blue Moo's video on exploring that cutscene. Which starts... around about here-ish. Yes, Night Coda, that was 2 weeks ago. I did Japan, Hong Kong and stuff. So if you see, I don't know. I was thinking that bridge there, the style and setting here, if we're considering that this is located in Liyuan, I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility that it's like this. I think there's even like this sort of pagoda structure there. I don't know if VLC players help in this situation. Yeah, this is Liyuan. Yeah, I'm just scrolling back through there. It is a symbol of the unresolved plot lines in Shenmue 3. They are infinite. Herb collecting. Obviously this is modern day Liyuan, so I don't know how this is going to look like if we did get this in a Shenmue 4. But it could do a lot with this if they had plans to do whatever they plan to do in Liyuan. Have you been here before, Night Coder? Is that why how you recognised where it was? Just looks stunning, man. The architecture of these places is just insane. Yeah. There you go. One of those sort of places. It might not be, but I was just getting this sort of vibe. This is like the Shenmue 2 recreation of this. What's it called? Like Dojo Lake. And then you got your Liyuan backdrop. Sort of a thing going on. And this could be the foresty region in front of the backdrop there. Do. That's a tune, that is. Coming back round to that bridge again now. It's all lit up. I don't know. For me, I feel like this could be that flashback area. Unless those bridges are just that common. You've got this sort of... I don't know, it's hard to find the right shot that encapsulates what you've seen from that wall scroll and Shenmue's sort of family little residence. Describe, yeah, I think you can kind of see it somewhat. It's just amazing. It is gorgeous. I know. Again, it's probably like another thing on the level of pyramids, isn't it? It's like, how on earth it's so ornate and perfect and symmetrical, and you can't even build a bloody wall right these days. It's all slanted and... so photographic. Well, I just find this cool because, again, it could be a location we do see in the future of the series. It's been spoken about, hopefully not retconned. Shenmue is supposed to see this in her dreams. When she closes her eyes, she sees the landscape of Liuang. She feels like she's had over 100 birthdays or something. Which, you know, links back to that stuff me and Matt were talking about when we were talking about your 1912, 1910, puts her in that kind of an era. So yeah, I'm going to stop that on there, and we'll just watch the rest of this. Blue Moose. So this is walking around this sort of similar sort of looking region. There's that gate thing I was just almost trying to point out with the wall. That's apparently Shenmue as a baby under the Shenmue tree. Shenmue tree's in a completely different location. So that's why that doesn't really add up. And like you can see, this sort of structure of the fencing is very much... There's a peony. So, I mean, you can't 100% confirm that this is Liuang, because no one suggested that this is Liuang, but just from what we know lore-wise within Shenmue 2 and what I've just shown of the real-life counterparts, this is a flashback, yeah, but being able to walk around it and actually see what they designed for this up close. I just think that's the bridge that we've just seen. It's walked across. And for this to be like part of... I mean, to look this nice as well and fancy, and her parents are very much Emperor and Empress looking clothing and everything. I think both are related. Yeah, that's the only reason why it may not be 100%, but like I say, these facts and bits of evidence that point, you know, the flashback where she's a baby and she looks at the wall scroll, she doesn't know her parents, she doesn't know how they died. I mean, technically they may not even be dead. Her real life parents are obviously someone important to live in a residence like this. And this is not Shenmue's house, is it? Top of Bailu Village. This is somewhere different. And then obviously she's got the wall scroll of Liuang that she comments on. She feels like she's been there before. Feels like she was there. Very much suggests that it was Liuang. Well, let's not have that one. Let's go for this one. In fact, I don't even need music now because Blue Moon will have... It's potential, you know, it's not far out of the realms of possibility of Rio's sister. Or even Landy's sister. Oh, hang on, we're getting into next week territory. There, a couple of weeks' time territory. I will show... because of the people that are in the chat now, I'll just play that little bit again from Shenmue 2 before we close the stream again. Hey, welcome in. Come on, I'm just going to chat over here. Welcome in, Discon Abisco. You're actually in that video on the Red Bridge. Since then we learnt there were multiple Shenmue trees. I don't know. I mean, it's very much speculative into the Shenmue tree stuff, because you've got the one that I think Shenmue does call the one in the Tourney Spring Shenmue tree, right? So yeah, potentially there are multiple Shenmue trees. It's just hard to get your head around. I really hope they do pick up on this lore and this sort of part of the story. What's going on as Shenmue as a child. Because you actually get two cutscenes. You get one in that Liu Wang looking area that we've just been having a look around, which she's going to do again in a minute. And apologies for the people that were in a bit early, but there's a couple of new people in the chat here that perhaps just what I was just showing about the Liu Wang city and stuff won't make sense.
Here.
I think she could be related to Landy because obviously they're both Chinese.
What's this tree?
Shenmue embodies the phoenix, which the phoenix is the empress, and Landy embodies the dragon, which is, you know, the emperor.
Really?
This tree holds a special meaning for me.
Good point. I don't know. See, I get Emperor and Empress vibes here from her parents. I don't know if this is just some fancy clothing or this is the home of an emperor and empress. These grounds.
Shenmue, a beautiful flower.
I know. We will name our child Shenfa.
Shenmue, that is wonderful. The Shenmue tree shall protect her.
It's Liesl Wilkerson doing that voice. But it's definitely not the same Shenmue tree, even though she says this tree.
The flower of the Shenmue tree is called Shenfa.
That's...
Unless it's a translation error. Like she's not specifically saying this particular tree, she's just saying Shenmue trees in general have leaves that called Shenmue. I do feel like they tried to trick you there though, how the baby's on a cradle hanging from the tree and there's a swing on this tree here. So whether or not they were going to have a moment that's like, wait, what? That's in Liu Wang. Hey Joe, teal clothing in the Tang Dynasty is secondary to the Emperor and Empress. So what the clothing that her parents were wearing is the level below an Emperor and Empress.
There was a tree at home that bloomed during the springtime.
At your house?
They were called cherry blossoms. Their petals were pale pink.
Cherry blossoms.
Or what, like a servant to the Emperor and Empress?
Does that tree hold a special meaning for you too?
Yes.
Let's go. It's this.
I'll play a little bit of this just for the moment. I'll be ending the stream in a second, but there's the ball scroll behind Shenmue. And then you get the second flashback where again she's swinging. Not servant, the second highest in social status. So what's this clothing that Shenhua's in here, Joe? Do you know? Is this pink clothing, is that one of the line of colours? Does that put Shenhua as like someone of importance? And at what stage do we think this is there? If she say she's 8 years old there, is she now living with her fake dad? I forgot what the correct term is there, but Mr. Yuan.
What's the matter, Shenhua?
When I was a child, I used to play on that swing.
Adoptive father. Yeah.
Every year when the Shenmue's flowers bloomed.
But she does mention here that her parents died and she didn't know how.
Yes.
And that's not conclusive that they are actually dead.
Really?
You know, like Ryo saw his father die. That's conclusive. Can we ask them both? I think we can ask both. Let's say family. I think this is the one that where she says about parents.
You said you were living with your father.
Yes. I only have a father. I don't have a mother. What about you?
When I was really small, my mother was already...
And your father?
My father is gone now.
See, if you look at the profile for, I think it's Ryo, it says his mother died of an illness when he was 3 years old.
He's a stubborn but warm-hearted man.
Stubborn but warm-hearted.
Stepdad. It's not stepdad, no.
While you're still sleeping in bed,
you do find Shenhua's dad, yeah, Mr. Yuan, at the end of the game.
Picking carrots one by one. So how can you waste them like that?
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of those themes going on in there. I know the autumn theme's like very much a common theme, but yeah, Ine-san's looked after Ryo. I suppose, I mean, he has had his dad until he was 18. Or, you know, I know he's makes out, at least in the anime, that his father's not really, he's like very strict. Whereas like Shenhua's father, I suppose Shenhua does, if you converse with Shenhua in Shenmue 2, she does say it, her Mr. Yuan's quite strict, I think.
I was told my real father had died.
Here you go, I was told my real father had died. I was told doesn't say she knows for a fact.
Yes, together with my mother.
Who's told her?
Really?
But I don't remember anything about my real parents. I don't even know how they died.
But she saw them in that flashback, didn't she? Or as the player saw her parents.
He took my parents' place and raised me as if I were his real child. Of course I accept him as my real father. He's my only family now.
I see.
But when I was small, I used to give him a difficult time. I threw tantrums. I told him that I wanted a mother. Brothers and sisters too.
Brothers and sisters.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I was trying this out and I said no one. Like, you want to say Fukusan, but technically, let's go no one again. Because I think most people would pick Fukusan.
Did you ever want any?
I did, when I was small.
There's something I'd like to tell you. But now, I can be with the birds and animals whenever I go into the mountains.
Yeah, but as a nice thing, I'd always say Fukusan because he's like a Daisy brother.
Yes. They always come to me, and we talk to each other.
You talk to them?
Talking to animals.
That tree.
The Shenmue tree.
Yeah, it's a really big tree.
Yes, it's a very old tree too. The tree was already that tall when my grandfather was a child.
I see.
Grandfather?
The tree has been alive for thousands of years.
Thousands of years.
Tree's been alive for thousands of years. Well, I know that. I mean, trees generally are, but...
Shenmue.
What's the matter, Nyo?
Maybe it's only my imagination.
Yes?
But I think I feel something.
You feel something?
The tree isn't just old and big. I don't know how to say this. It seems like it has a spirit.
Really? Do you feel that way too?
Well, yeah.
I felt the same way ever since I was small.
So you've had this sort of dropped on you at the end of Shenmue 2.
When I was a child, I used to play under the tree, and I felt like I was being held by the Shenmue tree. Although I was alone, I didn't feel lonely at all.
Like you've had this dropped on you at the end of Shenmue 2, and in your head you're thinking, oh, there's only one Shenmue tree, this is why it's so special.
Understand.
Yes.
It feels like, even as we sit here,
But
that
technically,
tree is watching and protecting us.
and Rio might mention it here, the trees got at home in Japan,
Time ago.
he feels the same sort of thing. It's like the trees are connected spiritually. So like Rio's tree at home could be Shenmue tree. That's a Shenmue tree. There's a Shenmue tree in Liyuan where Shenmue is as a baby. There's a Shenmue tree in Turney Spring for some reason. I don't know what's going on with that one.
Why don't you rest while I make dinner?
Yes, thank you.
Shenmue. There's been 3, aren't there? There's been Debbie Rabai. Oh, I never remember the second ones, but it's something like Alaskan Skoljian, something like that. Shenmue 3 was Brianna Knickerbocker. So it depends which one you mean, Scribe. You mean this one? Kind of a Japanese style thing that they field trees and stuff. It's supposed to be like key, right?
Thanks.
Like one with nature and all that sort of stuff. Could Uwao have taken a clipping home? What do you mean, like a petal thing?
Really
a seed or something, and it's grown this tree back in Japan? It's an interesting thought, Scribe. Colour of clothing indicated rank. Purple coloured clothes were used by officials above the 3rd grade. Light red were meant for officials above the 5th grade.
Oh, really?
Dark green was limited to the 6th grade and above officials. Light green was solely for officials above the 7th grade. Dark cyan was exclusive for officials above the 8th grade. Light cyan garments adorned officials above the 9th grade. Common people and all those who did not reside in the palace were allowed to wear yellow coloured clothes.
Make yourself at home. You can use any space in this house.
That's cool.
Thank you.
Father has a small collection of things. Take a look, if you like.
So, Shenmue's parents were in coloured garments of 8th grade. You were saying. The white leaf, again, it's debatable. I mean, we've got it in our inventory here. Does that look like a Shenmue tree petal? Because obviously Shenmue trees will go outside actually.
I guess not now.
Can't go outside now. What's happening here? We've got to go to bed. Oh. Okay, maybe it'll let me tomorrow then. Ooh. Forget it does that horrible first person thing. Let's just do the... Oh god, this is like going to be the 3rd or 4th time I've done this now on the streams, but I know there's like some new viewers in here. Let's have another look at this wall scroll.
This is embroidered?
Light cyan is what her father's wearing, okay.
For a long time.
Where is this place?
Luoyang,
Luoyang.
an old city that flourished during the Tang Dynasty.
And this is why you get the sort of connection to a flashback being Liyuan and what she says here.
Have you ever been there?
No, but for some reason it gives me a nostalgic feeling.
Nostalgic feeling?
I see it when I close my eyes. The landscape of the city, and the people bustling by.
And in Shenmue 3 she actually says the same sort of thing, but she says that she sees a capital city. They don't actually specify Liyuan in Shenmue 3 for some reason, and that wall scroll's changed in Shenmue 3 as well, which is annoying. So I don't know what they've got planned if they are going to go to Liyuan at some point, but she does say that she sees a capital city in her dreams where the Emperor and Empress are, or something. And she's had 100 birthdays or something.
What's wrong?
I quite liked Brianna, to be honest. I think my favourite Shenmue voice actor is Debbie Rabai in the first game, even though you don't really hear much of her. This voice actor is okay, she's just a little bit high-pitched.
What is this drawing?
Does great on you a little bit.
My father told me this has been in our family since long, long ago.
I think this
anything else about it.
She also does the voice of Wong.
What is this mirror?
The person that's voicing Shenmue.
Was given to my father.
Ashka Skolden.
To your father?
I'm definitely not pronouncing right.
This Phantom Riverstone can only be found in Bailu village.
Phantom Riverstone?
How did this mirror get
Which
to
character?
Japan?
My favourite VA?
I don't know.
My father might know something.
Out of Shenmue's.
Where's your father now?
He's at the stone
First
pit,
one.
gathering Phantom
First Shenmue.
Riverstone.
Shenmue
Where's
1.
the stone pit?
Over on the other side of the mountain. He said he was going to finish something. It's been days since he left for the stone pit.
Can you take me there?
I'm going to bring him food tomorrow morning. Come with me.
We're not going to finish the game, by the way, guys. All I'm going to do now is just walk outside and... What was I going to do? I was going to compare that white leaf to the Shenmue tree petals, I think. It's a shame that they sort of added that extra room onto Shenmue's house as well in Shenmue 3, because this room serves the purpose of letting Ryo sleep there, and then it would actually make sense. Instead they've added a room there, which is weird. And yeah, they've got rid of that wall scroll. That is a scroll depicting Bailu Village in Shenmue 3. And they've also got rid of this mountains wall scroll. It's like a bird now.
Shenfa.
Yo, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm preparing lunch right now. Can you wait a while?
Almost messed up then. I don't need to go in the kitchen yet. Let's have a quick look outside. So if anyone was here early in the stream, I was on about these cows. So these are water buffaloes, I believe, based on what they were saying in that Lai River thing we watched. So that's a nice detail. So yeah, so what I was saying was, I don't know if these could be the same petals as the white leaf. Especially when this is like a blossom tree. Blossoms are very much different. Peony. Does anyone know? Is that a peony? That's interesting. That's sticking out of the tree after what we just learnt about Liu Wang. I love that you can walk around here, by the way. I didn't know you could come outside until like a future playthrough. See the flowing river, Wheeling Mountains, it's just so amazing. Imagine this being able to run on a Dreamcast in like 2000. Doesn't make sense, does it? But yeah, I think we'll end it there, guys. Sorry for the extended thing there, but we got into a bit of a conversation there. Water buffalo. Yeah, I think that's what they said. there was a video at the start of the stream. So basically what we did in this stream, if anyone's interested, we watched like a good informative video on the Lee River, or the Lee River rather. A little bit of the Elephant Trunk Hill, of kind of what they used in Niawu. It just comes off the Lee River. Don't know why I keep saying Lee River. And then we watched some stuff on the Great Wall of China, the Cliff Temple, potential Cliff Temple stuff. Got the stream on there, sorry, I didn't mean to share that one. Where are we at? This stuff. We watched a video on this, and Liu Wang stuff that we got into. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that, guys. That is going to wrap us up for today's Law Investigation stream. Thanks for everyone that joined in the chat here. Had some nice spitballing conversation here towards the end. Did look a bit like a peony, yeah. Which is interesting. I don't know if that's there on purpose, like a Liu Wang reference. Like this tree's been ripped out of the ground in Liu Wang and like brought back to the Shenhua's house because it's like it protects her, it watches over her. You know, there could be a connection there. It could be that tree that we saw in a flashback. That is the same tree. It's just not in the same location. It's just been brought to bloody Guilin somehow and then planted there to watch over her because her parents were going to get kidnapped or killed, or whatever happened to her parents. They could still be alive. That could be a twist in the future of the series. Her real parents are like doing something. I don't know. Cheers, Scribe. Cheers, mate. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Johnny Darko. Covered quite a lot of shit in there, so hopefully you enjoyed that. The longish one. Yeah, Rio got that leaf from his father's basement. It was actually inside a astronomy book, which, again, I don't know if there's any connection between stars, that leaf. There's a lot of like star lore that we've looked at in some of the early episodes. I think episode 1 or 2 I was looking into stars a bit, the Big Dipper. Yeah, cheers guys, that's going to be it for now. I'm going to take us out with Wish. There's a video from Matt tomorrow. There might even be a bit of a slowish week next week. I think he's got a video on Wednesday, thinking about it. So I think you've got a Saturday video, a Wednesday video, and a Saturday video. And there may be a chance of streaming, I don't know if Matt's still in the chat, the PC gaming show on Sunday, just on the off chance, you never know. But with that, guys, thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you in a fortnight.